Hello, how is everybody doing today? We are talking about Resident Connections 2017-2018, the stuff you need to know. This is Mel. I'm the academic program coordinator. You'll hear more from me in the future. But today I just want to briefly talk to you about the logistics of Resident Connections and give you some information on where you can find additional information for the future. First of all, I hope you've seen this video. If not, you're about to. There's this girl named Katie Ryan. She has been doing comedy routines, and just watch this video and tell me if any of you or any of your residents are like Charlene.
It's me, Charlene. Raise your hands. I'm sorry I was 8 hours late for brunch yesterday. I forgot. Well, I'm speechless. I just don't believe in being on time. Oh, crap, I forgot my pills. I've been so busy today. Actually, I've been looking at pictures of baby guns. Yeah, I've been really busy. It's just 3 hours of doing work. 3 hours of looking at baby guns. Feeling really good about myself tonight, so I'm just gonna have some water refreshing. Oh no, I missed my mouth. Looking flawless like my dreams. Girl, I don't want to miss, but that's what I live for. I don't follow rules. I follow dogs on social media. You know, when I get my look, my routine, I roll out of bed and show up. I don't like effort. Sorry it took me 3 years to respond back to your text because I don't really understand technology. And I'm sorry for the divorce. Oh, I'm sorry. What were we doing? Yeah. Sorry, I just do that sometimes on surfaces and couches. Couches. Couch. I don't know how to say it. My life is a chain of awkward selfies. I feel so cute tonight, so I'm gonna take a picture of myself. Oh no. Love me or hate me, but I'm awkward. Gotta deal with it, honey. I know it's Saturday, but I can't come out. I'm old and tired. Respect your elders. My back. People keep saying, Charlene, why are you so extra? But I think about it, and I'm like, not as extra as the extra large fries I'm eating tonight. I'm literally the best person I know. I talk to myself all the time. I hang out with myself all the time. Like, seriously. I can listen to Despacito alone. What are you? Humans.
So, I'm sure that was just wonderful for you and you loved it. If you didn't, sorry, but I wanted to give an example of, the reality of some of our residents. Sometimes you text them and they don't respond back. Sometimes they forget to take their medication. Sometimes they have flawless dreams and they don't know how to achieve them, that kind of thing. So, Charlene is who we've created Resident Connections for. Resident Connections are intentional conversation 3 times a semester around specific themes. We don't expect you to, off the bat, understand how to have the best conversation ever. Really, we just want you to be intentionally available to every single one of your residents and make sure that you are either sharing resources or you're figuring out what resources they need. This year, it's going to be a little different. Instead of having a handout that you have to fill out, we're hoping that you can have these conversations throughout the month and then update your community map. I'm not asking you to take notes on your residents. What I'm asking is that you figure out if there's pertinent information that you think your resident director needs to know for follow-up, for referrals, for other types of things. Maybe there's a death in the family that affects academics. Maybe they're really going through a hard time because of the distance from their home. Maybe they're having some issues with adapting to study skills for college. Maybe they just hate Chem 105 or 107. It just really depends. And as their peer, you're able to connect with them in a way that a lot of administrators aren't. So instead of having the community map once, what we're hoping is that you create the community map the first month, and then every month after that you update it so that you can kind of see the changes in your residents over time. Then once a month, you'll go to the Qualtrics link, which I'll share with you in a moment, and you'll kind of report on specific types of residents that you're a little bit worried about. Students that give you the spidey senses where you're thinking, they might have said they were fine to me, but I want to know a little bit more. You're going to spend a little bit more time talking to them, and then you'll kind of report to your resident director that you think that they are struggling more than you can help them, or you'll just give them resources and then let the resident director, hey, I told them about the study and I think that they're using it. This is basically it functions as multiple things. We want the resident director to be able to get filtered information to have interventions and kind of be a case manager for the hall. But we're also hoping that by having more specific people reach out to residents, that will connect with them more and that they will feel more like they belong on campus. Right now, we have an 88% retention rate from first fall to second fall. And we're hoping to move that up to 95%, mostly because we know the benefits of an education are great. And we're finding that a lot of people leave, not necessarily because they they leave because they don't have access to resources a lot of times. It's not because they don't like UK. So here are the themes. Something additional, instead of having specific questions that I want you to ask, we're asking you to follow these themes and build a conversation around it. So from the time that they move in to September 1st, I want you to focus on getting to know them. Their names, their hometowns. Are they first year students or upperclassmen? Are they international? Are international students? Are they from a long way away? Are they considering different majors? Are they in a college but they're not sure which major to have? Do they have dreams that they've already decided on, or are they involved in extracurriculars or student organizations, Greek life? Are they in band? Are they, just getting to know them, the basics of them, maybe some hobbies. This is a great time to also ask about food preferences in case you want to have that for some of your programming. Just basically getting to know you. Then from September 2nd through October 1st, you're going to ask them about academic and social resources. Are they in a student organization? Are they doing well on their tests? Are they prepared for their midterms? Midterms this year is around the 5th of October. We're also having October 9th and 11th, our after office hours program, which we'll talk to you about this afternoon. And we really want you to make sure that they're prepared for those first tests, because this is right around the time that they're going to start struggling and maybe getting a little homesick. The most important time of the year is the first 6 weeks. So spend a lot of time these first 6 weeks trying to have these intentional conversations and make sure that you're sharing the resources that you have with them. Then from October 2nd through November 1st, connect with each one of your residents and think about the fall. How did their midterms go? Did they have huge projects? Are they anticipating the final? Is the final going to be good? Are they putting a lot of effort in the final and they're kind of hoping that that will save them? This is where they can reflect on the fall and see how it went. Then coming back for the spring, we're going to have some goal setting. A lot of times students come back from the fall and they're in the spring and they're like, oh, I didn't do so well. This is when you need to kind of step in and help them make SMART goals. We'll talk briefly about that during our training. We talked briefly about that, but make sure that they're kind of finding the resources to kind of reset. This leads right into March 1st, which is the career exploration theme. And so a lot of people might be switching majors. They might be registering for classes. They might be deciding that this is just not the right fit for them when it comes to a science field. So this is, or an internship if they're, an upperclassman. Maybe they want to do something over the summer. There's quite a few career fairs that you can also encourage them to participate in. And then by April 1st, people are starting to get ready to go. They know probably what they're going to do next year for housing. So reflection on the year is really important and kind of helps you get a whole picture of what they've been doing. Here are some notes on each connection. They should be intentional. Please don't just say, "Hi, how are you?" They'll say, "I'm fine." You're like, "Okay, bye." You're not Joey from Friends, okay? "How you doing?" No, we don't need that, okay? That's a little creepy. It's a little creepy. Make sure that you're in a space that allows a resident to disclose sensitive information. You probably don't want to be asking them about a death in their family at the front desk, especially if they don't like to show emotions around other people. So make sure that you're aware of that. There's not a template. I'm not trying to give you a bunch of questions. I really want you to pay attention to the conversation and then try to ask follow-up questions. If you are really struggling with this, talk to your RD, talk to your ARD, and see if you can practice how to have these academic conversations. We had some training this morning, but I really want you to focus on how to do this effectively beyond just "how are you?" Good. Also, update your community map as you go. It's hard to talk to all of your residents in one day and have intentional conversations and really make them quality. You're essentially the ears to the ground for us. And if you do it in one day, then you're just like, "Oh, you good? Okay, bye. You good? Okay, bye." Like that's not what we're looking for. But we don't expect you to have these crazy 3-hour long conversations with everybody. We just want to make sure that you're really following up and connecting with people in a deeper way than just "how are you doing?" So once you've updated your community map before the first of the next month, you're going to go to Qualtrics. This is a link and I'll send it out to people. So you'll go to this Qualtrics survey. It'll ask you your first name, your last name, your email address, the hall that you live and work in, which resident connection you're commenting on. So please select that. The name and the room number of the students that your resident director needs to connect with around academic issues. Please include a phrase that shares why they're struggling. We need a little bit, not a ton. I don't even need a full sentence. I just need to know, is it failed a test or death in the family or not able to buy books? Okay, please, this helps the resident director with note taking and making sure that if they need to follow up with them later, then this is how they're going to do it. List the name and room number of any students of concern that your RD will need to connect with, and a short description of why they're concerned. So I'm not talking about suicide ideation. What I'm talking about is this person seems to be distancing themselves. So let's say you have a resident named Molly, and Molly is really extroverted in the beginning, and she's all over the place. She's at all the programs. She's making sure she's doing everything. And then all of a sudden, in October, she's decided that she's not talking to anyone. She looks down at the ground, is not extroverted at all. So this drastic change in personality might mean that there's something deeper going on. If you're having a hard time reaching out to Molly, but you've noticed this, list this here, and then your resident director can reach out to them because maybe they just don't want to talk to their peers about something that they're really struggling. After that, so you'll just list them. After that, you're going to rank your top 3 issues for your floor. So are most of your students having financial aid issues? Are a lot of people homesick? Are you're having community building because you have a lot of cliques? Maybe you have anxiety in general, that kind of thing. And then spend a couple sentences on how you've responded to the students of concern. Then you're either going to drop your electronic community map on this page, or you're going to take a picture of it if you're someone who likes to do the poster board method or some of that nature. I know some people in the past have done AutoCAD and some people have done Sims. There are ways to kind of transmit that information because I definitely don't want to stop you from being creative. After you submit your Qualtrics by the first of the month, you're going to bring your community map to your resident director every time. that you have a one-on-one with them after you submit this. So the 2 weeks following the first of the month, your resident director will set up one-on-ones with you, and you need to bring the resident director or your assistant resident director. You need to bring your community map and talk to them about this, and talk to them about what residents you're concerned about. So you're going to elaborate what you put in the Qualtrics form. You also might just talk about some bigger issues with community building or issues with mean girls or things of that nature, and that your resident director can help you with that. Also share your successes. What have you done to help the residents? What did you do to help Molly? Did you talk to her in the middle of October, and then by November you noticed that she was actually reconnecting with people, she was starting to get her groove back, that kind of thing. Your RD and ARD will help you process and see what other interventions can be done. And keep in mind your students too, so they'll actually be talking to you about this also. If you work on this, you will help your residents become flawless, like your dreams. Why should you care? Well, there's a myriad of reasons. The main ones are not all residents come to programs. And to be real, I may seem really extroverted, but there are times where I just need to go in my room and be. And so your residents are like that too. And it's important that you're as available to the residents who are not as social as the ones who are. This is a way to do that. I know when I was an RA, sometimes I struggled with making sure I was talking to every single one of my residents. And so having these intentional checkpoints are really important. The transition to college and between semesters can be hard. Things change. You're in college for 4, 5, 6 years or more, and things change in your life. Things change with each person. And so we can't just assume that someone who's gotten a 4.0 in their fall semester is going to be doing well. Also, you're a peer. You know how to connect to students in real time. The last time I was an undergrad was in 2006, and I may think that I'm hip and with it, but I'm not. So there are times where I can make connections, but there are times where I can't. And it's really important that you show people that they care, that they're cared about, just because that can be really hard, especially in a large university. These are just some statistics for resident connections and the different referrals that we made in the spring. So after tracking this process with the resident directors and the RAs, these are all the statistics that our department did. We referred 1,000 people to the study, 500 to the Gen Chem lab, the Career Center. We had required people to go check in with their advisor. Resident directors had meetings with their residents and made sure that they were okay. RAs followed up because of any issues with academics. You all are working really hard, and this whole process is showing the broader campus community what you're doing. And this is what I'm trying to work with you all to do. I'm counting on you, y'all. I'm going to keep the Canvas page alive. It's not for turning things in, but I want you to go back and look at this video and go back and look on Canvas for additional information if you're really struggling. And I want you to be like Katie Ryan here with your residents.
Life, you're winning! You're winning at life, you're winning!
Oop. I want you to win at life. With your help, this is totally a reality.